Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your October 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Cancer, October 16th to the 30th, 2021, Cancer. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the tarot has to say. At our root, we have the Tower. It's not a bad thing. It just means that this is change that we cannot control. Divinity is pushing us out of our comfort zone in a very real way. And then we have the Death card, which we might see as a bit of an ominous combination. I know people get freaked out with that, but it's a real sense of change here, a real sense of rebirth and rediscovery and power really coming forward for us during this time. We're not going to start this period. We're not going to end this period the way we started it. And that's going to be something where we might feel iffy about that, like, okay, well, how am I moving forward? What do I want? What do I need? What's going on here? But there's this profound sense of growth and of becoming and of greater understanding. And that's really a good thing. We have the messenger of Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn coming through. If we have Earth sign energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully within our inner self. If we have Scorpio energy within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our root. We have the goddess of air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. If we're born on the cusp with Gemini, or again, have this within our natal chart, it's coming through very powerfully within our inner self, but our voice is going to be really important during this time. Also, having this sense of discovery and richness and greater understanding of what we want, of what we desire, of where we're headed for ourselves, that's going to be really important. This isn't wealth in the sense of I need to have all the money, though that would always be a plus. This is wealth in a sense of I need to see the seeds that I've planted, what I put my time, energy, and effort into, bearing fruit, bringing things forward. It moves us to our emotional self. We have the King of Swords. We have the Queen of Swords, which is the King in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. We have the King coming through here, again, of Swords, of air. And there's just this power of voice once again coming forward. It's also the mind and the heart coming together. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing. Change is huge for us during this time. can seem like we can't get away from it. We can't run away from the change that is such a powerful and integral part of us. It moves us then to our public self. We have the Seven of Pentacles. This is, this is earth sign energy, yes, but this is a sense of balancing of wealth, a sense of patience, a sense of having faith that, what will come to pass, having faith that it wasn't all a mistake. I don't know why Spirit is having me say this, and I don't know if that's for one specific person, but it's like, have patience. There is a reason. It's all not been for naught. And then we have the world. We have the world opening to us. We have power guiding us forward. We are motivated. We're finding our place within our world. And that's really a big thing. It's not for anybody else. It's for ourselves. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. We need to be mindful of the Lord. The Lord is fire sign energy. Well, it's Aries energy. And we need to be mindful of the sense of our tempers getting the best of us. We need to be mindful of really being drawn to people who are just super intense, a bit fiery, not very trustworthy. And I'm not saying that Aries aren't trustworthy. What Spirit is saying here is that we need to be mindful of the passion that people are putting into things. Those people who you sit there and you think, wow, if you put that much effort into your job or into what you're really talented at, you could be super successful. But they put so much effort into lying and scamming and cheating. That's what I'm seeing here. And I'm seeing us drawn to wanting to help these people, or drawn to a person who is like this, but we don't know that they're like this. They just seem very powerful. They have this exuberant way of presenting themselves forward, and we're going to be kind of lured in. So do be mindful of that. Now let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. And this is inner strength. And again, there is this sense of change, this sense of rebirth, this sense of stepping out of our shell, out of our comfort zone. This is the solar plexus chakra. We have to trust our gut. We also have to be kind to our gut. If we're not kind to our gut, if we're not kind to our inner self, then we're going to find that we're not moving forward the way that we really need to, the way that we really want to. With our inner self, with our inner strength coming forward, there is a sense that we've been put through the ringer. Now, for a lot of us Cancers, we're going to sit there and say, yes, it's been a challenge. It's been hard. There's been intensity here. And as I'm put through the ringer, I'm seeing that I'm looking at things differently. I'm seeing that the world is different, but it's not necessarily that the world is different. It's that my eyes are different. What I'm seeing now is quite different than what I saw going into everything. And so we can feel that this change is just all-consuming. And yet it's not going to be, the change isn't all-consuming. It's the fact that we have stepped forward into a new season of our existence, into a new power of our voice. And that's going to be something that we utilize, that we need to utilize in order to move forward, in order to weave the tapestry, the web, the beauty that we want to weave, to have everything come together. So let's first start with the astrology. On the 16th of October, Mercury is going to be sextile Venus. Now this brings us absolutely well-needed, beautiful energy. With Mercury in control of our communication and Venus ruling love, we have this wonderful social energy, this wonderful sense of feeling in tune with our bodies, in tune with our voice. That's going to really be important since we have the goddess of air and the king of swords, the king of air here. There's a sense of my voice is powerful, my words have meaning. This is a time for beautiful expression, self-expression through music, through words, through talking. We're going to really embrace this and need to embrace this, and also the sensuality of ourselves, our hearts. I mean, as a water sign energy, our hearts are intrinsically important. This isn't a day for fighting if we can avoid that during this time. We're also going to find that if we do fight, we can fight dirty. Like, we can go for people's weaknesses really super easily. So we have to step back from that energy and step into ourselves. On the 17th of October, the sun is squared Pluto. Now we say goodbye to the calm energy of Mercury sextile Venus and hello to the intensity we've become used to with the new moon, with everything that's going on in the world. We're used to things being just a little bit on edge. And so here we bring that kind of blade's edge forward. we need to be mindful of our egos getting in the way of things. That's also why the Lord is coming forward. We can really think, oh, I got this in the bag. I know exactly what I'm doing. This is exactly what I needed, what I wanted. And then we're going to be surprised. And we can find that surprise coming forward rather quickly on the 17th of October. There is this intensity within ourselves that we're going to be drawn to absolutely, positively, very intense people during this time. We need to stay calm to balance this and to also counteract this. We need to stay calm. We need to realize that our intensity needs to be focused on our careers, on what we want, on our gifts, our desires, our family, what it is that we want to see flourishing within this world, because that's when we become unstoppable. It's not for anybody else. It's not to say, oh, look what I've accumulated, look what I have. It's to say, look at me, look at who I am, look at what I desire within my life. And that's going to be the kind of catalyst, the springboard for this time. On the 18th of October, we have a bunch of things going on. First, we have Jupiter coming direct. Now, when Jupiter goes retrograde, which it did in June, we have this 4-month period of our spiritual and inner needs being put forward, really coming to the forefront. This is a time of seeing harsh truths and really needing to be honest with ourselves. So as we're seeing ourselves come out of this time, we've already kind of realized our weaknesses. We've realized where we stunt ourselves, like the coping mechanisms that we have that aren't good for us. We realize where we're tripping up, what it is that we do time and time again that isn't getting us the results that we want. And now that Jupiter goes direct, we have the courage and the insight to act on the lessons that we have learned, to act on the intensity and the power that we want to see come forward, and to really bring us into success. We need to take advantage of this insight because this is a game changer for us. Now, we have Mercury coming direct, and we can rejoice in the fact that Mercury is coming out of retrograde. And as Mercury comes out of retrograde, we see the confusions within communication kind of falling apart. Excuse me. But we have this really intense star alignment, which you could remember from the Mercury retrograde reading that was done. So when Mercury comes direct, we need to have an astoundingly positive mindset, which Jupiter coming direct can really bring. But because also we're aware of our weaknesses, we can kind of find ourselves attacking ourselves in a really vulnerable and really underhanded way, self-sabotaging, making sure that we don't feel like we're worth it, like we can move forward the way that we want to. And this is because of the fixed star Vindamatrix. Now, Vindamatrix is just a nasty star. It really is. This leads us to melancholy, impatience, and rashness, but this leads us also to the macabre aspect of life, to the darker, seedier, aspect of things. And we're going to find that we're really intrigued by this. Now we can find ourselves really falling into true crime, into murder mysteries, into horror films. We need to step back. And this is going to be really important. We can find that even like the books that we're reading or the movies that we watch or the TV shows, whatever it is, that if it has that intensity to it, and we might not have known that it was going to have that intensity, all of a sudden it takes on a life of its own. It takes on an intensity of its own. We need to step back from it. We need to surround ourselves with laughter. We need to surround ourselves with positivity and passion. If not, we can easily be led down a very depressing, very anxious path. So do be mindful of that. Now, we also have the fixed star Parima. Now, Parima, if we come to this star with negative energy, it makes us feel like no matter how hard we work, no matter how much we do, we'll never get to the place that we want to be. It's astoundingly nihilistic if we have a low energy vibration. If we have a high energy vibration, all of a sudden we're able to see the people who are liars, cheats, and thieves, the untrustworthy people in our life, the underhanded people in the world, and say, I see you, I recognize you, I can smile to your face, we can carry on a pleasant conversation, but I'm not going to be fooled by you. I'm not going to be dragged down by you. This becomes a superpower. And remember, this is if we come to this time, the 18th of October, with a high energy vibration. Now, we have also, on the 18th, we have Mars trine Jupiter. This brings success and has us moving forward with strength and with confidence. We have this sensual, creative energy that comes forward, and it's a perfect time for meditating on our sacral chakra. It's a perfect time for embracing our sensual creativity and really exploring what we love, what we desire within our lives, within ourselves. This is a time where we start to say, well, why not? Why not start indulge ourselves a little bit? Why not, embrace the richness and the beauty of life? Why not, understand our creativity and let ourselves, our uniqueness shine forward? Luck is on our side, so don't waste it. Don't waste this time. The only thing that gets in our way is Mercury coming direct in the star alignment. With Jupiter direct and Mars trine Jupiter, we're sandwiched. We have really great positivity sandwiched between the negativity of Mars coming direct, the negativity of the star alignment. So again, just remember that high energy vibration, that sense of laughter, that sense of joy that really suits us well during this time. On the 20th of October, we have the Hunter's full moon in Aries. This is considered a sacred moon for many cultures, and so this is a time that's going to be very powerful and very deep. We will go more in depth into this in another video, just on the full moon itself. On the 22nd of October, Mars is squared Pluto. We are set to achieve our potentials and increase our own power. We are driven, determined, and we are energized. It's like we've drunk a lot of coffee. There's a sense of, I can do anything. I am, focused and going for it. Make sure that we take care of ourselves, because we can kind of just rely on this kind of manic creative energy to guide us forward, this real intensity, and ride that high. Make sure that we're sleeping, make sure that we're, eating right, because then we can really see that energy become just absolutely beautiful. This is a time to get the job done. We go after what we want. Nothing and no one will hold us back. The only thing that we have to be mindful of is that our tempers can run high and our tongues might be a bit short. We might be a little bit snippy with people. So be mindful of that, and then we can really see ourselves succeed and achieve. On the 22nd of October, Venus is squared Neptune. Now, this is a time where it kind of throws us for a loop. So put a reminder in your phone, circle it on the calendar. This is a time where we don't realize our own worth. This is a time where it makes it really hard. We need to embrace self-love, but what we're going to think is, what's there to love? What is there that's beautiful or worthwhile about me? What is there that I've achieved and that I have done that others could not have achieved, that others could not have done? And we just get this bit of melancholy, this bit of, it's like gray. I always see this as grayness, as, the world is just a storm cloud during this time. And what we have to remember is that we are loved. What we have to remember is that we are worth it. Write it on our mirror and say it every single day. I am enough. I am worth it. I am loved. I am powerful. I am, success. And keep on saying it. Keep on embracing it. Even if it sounds like a lie, even if we say when I'm enough, we can get really mad at ourselves and say, what do you mean I'm enough? I'm enough for what? For whom? I have so much more that I want to achieve, that I want to succeed at. It's not saying that we stop here. It's saying that where we stand right now is not a mistake. Even if it's super hard, even if we think, what the heck has happened? We are being forged, and that is never easy. Remember how a diamond is made. A diamond is made by a piece of coal being put under tremendous amount of pressure for a tremendously long period of time. Either that piece of coal crumbles away and just becomes dust, or it becomes a diamond and it becomes priceless. This is a time to embrace our pricelessness. This is also a time to focus on our heart chakra, to come to ourselves with open arms and loving energy. Now, on the 28th of October, Venus is going to be sextile Jupiter, which is extremely beautiful. This washes away the doubts and the fears of Venus squared Neptune. Here we are loved and we know our worth. Here it's like a big warm hug coming over us. Yes, we do have the 27th, which is of course in between the 26th and the 28th, where we might be feeling a little sluggish. It might be like we have to just kind of push away or wash away that negative energy. But the 28th of October, it's like, let yourself shine. This is a great time to indulge and go after what we want, to embrace adventures, and to embrace a balance within ourselves. Don't overindulge, because we can tend to on this day, just because we're feeling so good and we kind of felt so crummy before. So just have fun. Just have fun and embrace your love and your passion. On the 30th of October, we have the Sun squared Saturn. Here we are given a chance to hone our own insecurities, meaning that we understand where we don't excel, and we understand where it is that we are a little bit vulnerable and weak. And instead of running away from that and saying, oh, I'll look at that later, or, oh, that doesn't matter, we take the time and we look at ourselves and we say, this is where I want to be. It is time for me to embrace who I am, what I want. This is the perfect time for late bloomers. This is a perfect time for people who are doubting our worth. We start to see that, yes, we have these insecurities. Yes, we have these doubts and fears. Yes, we're not perfect, but we are. And that is worth a lot. And that's where this tower energy really comes into play. We're seeing a lot of things crumble away, a lot of doubts and fears that we've held onto, a lot of negativity that's been carried with us, a lot of learning and teaching energy. We've been pushed out of our comfort zone time and time again. The planetary alignment shows it. Our own energy, our own feeling, the state of the world, it shows it. And now we're starting to say, this is my voice. Our voice is going to be very important. These are my words. This is my voice. This is my passion. This is my desire. This is what I need to move me forward. And as we see this, as we see that we've been pushed out of our comfort zone, thrown out, one might say, into the brave, cold world, we find that we're reborn. That we're not the same person we were when we started this journey, when we started this, cycle from the 16th to the 30th, but we're also not the same person, period. We're not the same person that we were. We might have different dreams, different ways of going about accomplishing those dreams. We have different hopes and desires and wishes and insight. We have this sense of there is more here than meets the eye, and there is more to me than I know. We can go through a bit of a mourning process whenever the death card comes up of the person that we were, mourning the person that we were, or mourning the idea of the person that we would be at this time. But we have to embrace who we are, the lessons that we're learning, the place that we are standing, our passion, our heart, our soul, and ourself. And as we do so, we embrace our power and our determination. We embrace our transformation, and we move forward with dignity and respect for us. It doesn't have to be for everybody else. We don't have to sit there and, understand everybody else's transformation. We do have to come to it with kindness, but we respect the way that we're moving forward. And it moves us to being the messenger of Earth, to having this message of prosperity and grounding and insight and ideas coming forward. For those of us who are going to be going into winter, who are embracing fall, or, even as we come out of winter, we see ourselves understanding that the cold is important, understanding that being able to be secure and warm within ourselves when the world hits us with different things is going to be of the utmost importance for us as we cherish our dreams, as we look at what we desire, as we look at what we've planted, as we understand that it will take time for it to sprout through the snow. And we're going to see here that there's a powerful, beautiful message of connection to the earth, of connection to our desires, to connection to our earthly wants and our earthly needs and our earthly insights. And it leads us to the goddess of air. The goddess of air is our voice. The goddess of air is the complexity of what we're weaving and discovering, and knowing that, yes, like a spider's web, it can be knocked down. It can be, just washed away in a moment, but that we are constantly building the power of our voice, creating something new, creating something insightful, creating this power and insight of ourselves as we embrace our words, our desires, and where it is that we want to be. The King of Swords then comes into play as we are understanding the complexity of us. And in our heart, it's like our heart and our mind need to come together. So often we see people who are purely emotional. They react very emotionally to things. And then we see people who are purely logical. They react rather coldly to things because they're being very logical. We need to have that middle ground. And during this time, we're going to see that we do have this middle ground. We're able to embrace the sense of my mind and my heart need to work together. We are nobody's fool. People can tend to take advantage of us, Cancer. People can tend to think, oh, you're just so nice, you're just so caring, you're going to be a sucker, I can take advantage of you. That's not the case, especially during this time. People will be surprised, and you will be surprised at how firmly and intensely you stand your ground, how you've built these boundaries around you, these it's boundaries. It's having really good boundaries. It's respecting your boundaries. It's respecting yourself. It's respecting what you desire and what you want as you cut through the doubts and the fears and the negativities. The King of Swords is the warrior king, just as the Queen of Air is a warrior queen, because the voice is what starts the battle, you know? And so here we have the King of Swords cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. We have the King of Swords saying, this is what I've honed my skills for. The sword is the only weapon within the tarot. That weapon is important because, first of all, it was only for the elite. Elites were only allowed to, well, not only allowed to use swords, but they were the only ones who could use swords. They could use other weapons too. But this was a status symbol. This was something that took tremendous amount of effort to craft. That was, if you were given a sword back in early medieval times, it changed the whole prospects of your family line. It changed your wealth. It changed everything about your status within society. And so we have a sword coming forward, and we have ourselves being the king of the sword, being the king of our voice, of our minds, of our insight, and our ideas. And that changes the game for us. That brings us to a whole new level, and it brings us to the world. Not the world, the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune says it's time for change. We can feel like we're on a roller coaster ride now. We have the ups, we have the downs, the lefts and the rights, and it's like, okay, when do I get steady ground? What's good about this time is that we're ready for change. We're ready for change. We're breaking out of our shell. We're finding our voice. We're embracing our voice. We stand up for ourselves more now than maybe even ever before, or than we've stood up for ourselves in quite some time. We're looking at this change and saying, yes, I know it's different, but I know it's powerfully and beautifully me. I know that as I embrace this intensity, as I embrace this insight, as I embrace these ideas, I embrace the power of myself. And as we do this in the public arena, we start to understand what we are patiently building. This may not be the time that we see everything that we set up fall into line like dominoes and just be able to take off. This is a time where we know that we are patiently waiting for what it is that we greatly desire. This is the time that we understand that things are building, that we are building something powerful and important. I always look at the Seven of Pentacles, and it's in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I believe it's the fruit on the tree, or the fruit, no, it's the fruit on the bush that they're waiting to become ripe. And I always think of strawberries. And I know that they're vines, but because if you have unripe strawberries, and I remember a person doing this when I was little, they cut them up and they put them in a bowl and they sprinkled sugar all over them. And then all of a sudden, those hard, chewy, not chewy, but those hard strawberries that weren't sweet at all became sweet because they were covered in sugar. But here, it's waiting for the strawberries to become ripe and tasting that deliciousness, that ripeness, that juicy warmth that seems to have a bit of the sun in it. And so here, it's have patience. Have patience, because what is naturally maturing is going to be sweeter than anything that we can force. And that's a hard thing to have, is patience for ourselves and what we want from life and the way that we're moving forward. But as we have this patience, we start to have faith in us, in what we desire, in our hopes and our dreams, and it leads us to the world. It leads us to knowing where we stand within this world, to knowing what we're going after, to knowing what we're moving for. The story that's coming up here in Spirit saying share it. Not so long ago, I had this job that I absolutely hated. And I had a new manager come, and she was not the nicest of people. And she heard about my education, and she laughed at me. And she said, well, isn't that funny? I didn't have any of that. And look where you are, and look where I am. And the first thing that went through my mind was, but I'm not done yet. I'm just starting. And here, it's going to be that sense. It's going to be that sense of somebody of power coming in and telling you that the world that you are building for yourself is a joke. Like, look where you are, look where they are, come on, type of thing. And now we're starting to see that we're redefining our world. We're redefining our world in a very powerful and very real way, because we are finding ourselves. When we are lost, everything is lost and chaotic around us. When we don't realize our worth, we undersell ourselves time and time again. This is a time where we start to see that there is more to us than meets the eye. We are astoundingly motivated. We are embracing our voice and our insights and our ideas because we're embracing where we want to stand within this world and why we want to stand there. It's not for anybody else, but it is for ourselves. And it moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, which is the death card. This is the energy at our root, right? That's very important to us. But we have to be mindful of liars and we have to be mindful of sneaks. We can be a little bit sneaky ourselves during this time, so do be mindful of this. We're going to have a tendency to be like, it's none of your business, I'm not telling you type of attitude. And I don't know, I'm of the opinion that you don't need to tell everybody everything. The world seems to be different nowadays. But, keep to yourself what you need to keep to yourself, but don't keep secrets, okay? That's going to be really important. This is a time where we need to be mindful of people having ulterior motives and just not sharing with us the information that they need to share with us. So do be mindful of that. Our subconscious chakra energy is creativity. This is the sacral chakra. This is the chakra that we need to focus on the 18th of October with Mars trine Jupiter. Creativity is such a powerful part of us. Embrace it from the 16th to the 30th. Create, push the boundaries, innovate, and see how you feel as you do so. See how you feel, Cancer, as you break down the barriers of fear and doubt and what other people think. And just start being you, because it will be extraordinary. Our subconscious rooted energy is the star. This is Aquarius energy. We are starting to embrace our dreams and our wishes. Divinity is giving us what we need, not what we want, what we need. And that's something that we've longed for, but maybe haven't noticed that we longed for it and wanted it in the way that divinity is going to give it. We are going to see that we are illuminated. We are going to see that we find balance and insight through the smallest of light, through the smallest of things. They're going to make the biggest difference. It's kind of like looking up in the sky and seeing the stars. They're so far away. They're such small little pinpricks of light. But remember, our ancestors guided their ships and guided their paths by stars and by birds. And it sounds like a fairy tale and something from a story, but it isn't. It's actually true. And it moves us then to our subconscious inner self. And that's the Four of Air. The Four of Air, the Four of Wands, is celebration? No, the Four of Air is, it is a celebration of the hurts and the pains that we have gone through. It's a celebration of our lives and knowing that they haven't been easy, because a story, a really good story, no matter how you read it or if you hear it from somebody, has trials and tribulations in it, has heartbreaks and disappointments. Everybody wants that happily ever after, right? But we need to know that to get that happily ever after, to get the joy and the peace that we want within our lives, we have to honor what we have been through. We have to honor the path that we have taken. It's not just the destination of where we're headed, it's the journey that we're on. And that's going to be a really beautiful thing for us. So instead of scoffing at or, hating the hurts and the pains and the trials and the hard times that we have been through, it's saying, I honor this path. I honor every single aspect of me. And then it moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and that's the Ten of Wands. We need to put down the burdens that we've been carrying. We need to stop trying to carry other people's happiness, other people's success, and we need to start carrying what we desire and want from life. And we need to make a bonfire of our dreams and our desires, not to purge ourselves from them, but to let them shine like stars, to let them warm us, to let them move us forward. And maybe not a bonfire, maybe a small fire, and focus every day on something beautiful, on something insightful. It's enough of being weighed down with so much that all we see is the dirt on our shoes. We deserve more, and we need more, Cancer. This moves us to our subconscious public arena self, and that is the moon. Now, this is Pisces energy, so if we have that within our natal chart, it's coming through very powerfully within our public arena self. What we see here is we see the change. What we see is the change of what we desire and want and need. We see fear that has held us back now transforming us. We see what has been cast in shadows, not as monsters or doubts or chaos. We see them as a different casting of light, a different way to observe, a different way to see and understand. It's like a little kid. I was walking with my nephew and it became dark as we were walking home and he became scared. and he wanted to be carried. He didn't want to go into his carriage, but he wanted to be carried. It's because the world looked different, because there was no moon out. The sky was cloudy, and the lights all started to go away. And so here, what we're going to see is that we can be afraid, but what we need to know is that divinity will carry us, that we are protected and that we are loved. And just because everything looks different doesn't mean that it's wrong or scary. It just means that there's a different path forward and a different way to deal with the situation. The moon is going to be our spiritual wisdom that comes forward. It's our insight and it's our ideas that guide us. And as we embrace this, well, we embrace ourselves. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and intensity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer.